Hello and welcome to the Aaron Roussos podcast. Today's little episode, we're talking about time-stamping intellectual property when you have come up with a new discovery. So if you wanted to trademark a term or I guess a concept, there's a bit of a process that you need to go through, and through that process you can also timestamp the start of that process. And I guess that's what I've done with a lot of things, and I just wanted to get on and explain how and why and everything else, because there's probably a lot of you that have a lot of good ideas, but you sort of, I guess, don't know where to take it from there. It's not highly publicised, or it's not commonly known. Common knowledge is known by everyone and searchable and comes up in spell checks and all the rest of it. And even things that we know that aren't so common, like, epigenetics and things that are, we use, or emerging sciences that we know about, are still not commonly, or don't show up in common things like spell check across different platforms, and that's because they're not commonly used. And so this knowledge of I guess being able to protect your ideas or a new concept or something that you have that you think a discovery, and you might not have the money or the know-how, but you can definitely protect yourself by timestamping it. And I'm going to use myself as an example to take you through the process. So obviously we all know when we've seen a trademark, and some of the biggest companies in the world have trademarks, and it's also their slogans and sayings, and they have that little R next to it, and that's a trademark. Now the little TM is the first time-stamped part of that, where you can start the process. And then from that moment onwards, you go through the process, and if it's accepted, then that can get the little R and it's yours. But you can also take that back to the time when you first you started the process for trademarking. So with some of the stuff, like on my website, in my protocols and natural, and I guess the best one is the homeostatic alignment. So this is a naturally aligning thing. It's a natural thing, but it's a term that's used to explain in 2 words what the protocol is all about: homeostasis, homeostatic, alignment. Okay, and it's that whole alignment process. Now this does a lot of things that is unbelievable to the human being right now, and so therefore it is a discovery of some form of epic proportions. And the reason why I had to protect it, I spoke to a patent lawyer in Sydney who's helping me, and the reason why he said it's imperative that I do this process to protect myself is because of the things that I'm actually encountering now, and that is that everyone that I share this with is trying to take it and weaponize it or monetize it. So I'm sharing freely a humanitarian organization that makes the world a better place with some people across many different organizations and places and what have you around the world. And some of them, instead of inviting me in to share the information with this board or this organization or whatever, there's individuals that have basically think they're stealing it, but I'm giving it away freely. So they're going, wow, this is the biggest discovery ever. And they see that as an opportunity. So negative people that can't come up with original ideas or put the work in themselves are therefore taking my work and trying to weaponize it, or trying to monetize it, or trying to put it into some form of a system where the copyright from my books isn't, they've trying to legally change it enough to be able to try and use it to make a huge amount of money. And don't get me wrong, we're talking about something that affects billions of people. So it's going to make someone, easily a trillionaire. Okay. Now, if you were basically, getting this information, that said it's given away freely, there's people that come across my site and just say, look, and then they take it, or the individuals within the organisations that I'm dealing with that have taken it. This has been going on for 6 years now. So some of the earliest people and earliest organisations, whether it be humanitarian, health, I've had, receptionists at the office take my information and actually leave their job thinking they are going to monetize it and become trillionaires because of, I guess, the size and what the actual discovery does. So by time stamping it, this is the explanation I was given by a lawyer, was by going and starting the trademarking process, and also by putting it into print and copywriting it. I'm time stamping my intellectual property, so that if any of these people, which it'd be very hard to, monetize something that is freely given away or as part of the natural system that we belong to. And it would affect every human being on earth. So it's pretty big, so I can see why the opportunistic negative people would try and take it and make money out of it and try and put it in a box and sell it to you and all the rest of it. But if anything of the sorts come out within the last, since 2018 and whenever in the future, if someone does do that, someone try and use it to make money, then I can go to the highest court in the land, the High Court of Australia. Say, for instance, if these people that previously took it to try and monetize it. And this has got a digital footprint, a time-stamped, and it goes all the way back. So basically it doesn't matter whether it's in 1 year, 10 years, 20 years, 50 years when it comes out, or when I take it to the court, it will be proven that this was my idea originally. There is also some other things that I did back in 2018 and 19, which is called a poor man's patent, which is a very simple process. And what I did was I got the protocols and the theory behind it, and the explanation, and I put it into print with diagrams, explanations, all the rest of it. Then I put it into a sealed envelope. I took it to a post office and I mailed it to myself. And obviously the stamp from the Australia Post gives me a timestamp, and as long as I don't open that, it remains sealed. Then if someone comes up with your idea in the future for 55 cents, you are able to take that to court and get the judge to open it in court and start the proceedings. And if that in fact was your idea first, then those people will have to pay you compensation. So there's many different ways to protect yourself, which you don't know if you don't have any money. Okay? So first one I said they call the poor man's patent for 55 cents, or the cost of a stamp, whatever it is now. It's probably over $1. I have no idea. I haven't bought a stamp in a long time. You have this thing where you diagram, and I was told this many, many years ago, just put as much detail and just say, all right, and I've tested it on people, say, just the most commonest normal person that knows nothing about what you're talking about, just get them to have a look at it and follow it and give you their interpretation of what you would do based on that information. And if they give you a good idea of your discovery or your system or whatever it is, then any monies that someone else makes of that, and let's be real, you know what I mean? I've spent my whole life working on this, so that means that anyone coming up with what I've come up with has either taken it from me and tried to package it, or they have spent over 34 years arriving at this moment with this amount of wisdom, knowledge and know-how about the system we belong to and our bodies and holistically how we work. So it's going to be very, very rare that anyone would have taken 30 plus years off life and separated themselves, because I haven't been involved in the human race as commonly as everyone else has been on the planet, to be able to come up and be able to accumulate all the wisdom that I have and knowledge and know-how, and test all of these things to get to where I am. So I put disclaimers on my website, on my protocols, on my books, that this is time-stamped intellectual property. And while I'm giving it away freely to anyone to use for humanitarian purposes, because I'm giving people that are really sick and they mentally think that they are sick with an incurable disease that nobody can heal on the planet. And in most cases, my first thing that I did this with was chronic anxiety disorders, of which over 300 million people have, in such a way that it lowers their quality of health, quality of life on the planet, and has affected the people around them, and they're on medications that presently erode the human interface, which is something which you have to know how we work to know if that's possible or not. But I guess at the end of the day, you can just test it by doing the things that are in the thing for 14 days. If it works, then I'm right. If it doesn't work, then I'm not right. Okay? But that in itself gives not a piece of the puzzle, not a clue, not a thing to try and hope for the best. I'm giving you the exact formula of what's worked for me and for hundreds of others, and when it's been done exactly how the protocol lays out and quite thoughtfully, then basically the human people that have done this 14-day protocol have in fact healed themselves of an incurable disease, and therefore it's going to be part of the system moving forward and the merging of that. So I've just explained to you how you can timestamp your intellectual property, and basically, even through a poor man's patent, safeguard yourself. As if you come up with an idea and don't have the money or even the know-how to develop it or to take it further, you can simply just put it in an envelope, pay the price of a postage stamp and send it to yourself, and there lies the cheapest a way for you to protect your idea. Some of it might not go anywhere. Some of it might be like this, $1 trillion idea that will change not only your life, but every human being on the planet moving forward. And so therefore it's for the cost of a postage stamp. So I just wanted to share that with you. I hope that helps. And now when you have these ideas and things, just document them and put them in there and safeguard yourself. Thank you for listening. I look forward to bringing you another episode of the Aaron Russos podcast real soon.